Hello, family. It's Chiquita Millette again, and I have a Libby here with me today for our conversation about the encouragement talk. And I'm really excited, Libby. Thank you so much for just being a part of this conversation with me. Whenever God had placed it in my heart to focus on love and to focus on being as righteous and obedient as possible. And I came up with this idea of a way to try to share some love and encouragement. You were one of the first people that God put in my spirit. And I was like, yes, Lord, yes, I got to reach out to Libby so we can talk. So we can talk. And even though I know you're an amazing person with a sweet spirit, I want the world to know, who you are. So Libby, tell me, who are you?
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much, Chiquita, for this amazing opportunity just to be on your platform, just to share, a little bit about my life. I am the daughter of James and Pamela Simmons. I am the older sister, of course, of my sister Joy. I have an amazing 10-year-old nephew, Ethan. I'm a praise and worship leader. I am social media, Mary Kay consultant, and I am an author. So I'm juggling everything. So that's a
I
little bit
like
about me.
I was talking to this girl a couple years ago, and she referred to herself as the social butterfly. And when I think of you, I think of Libby as the social butterfly. Like if you're gonna have a girls' day, if you're gonna go have some fun, you want to have someone with a great personality, you have to call Libby.
Well, thank you. It has taken years just to get to that. I've been in a cocoon for so long. It's like, boom, okay.
Well, and you said that you are an author. Tell me a little bit about your book.
Okay, the name of my book, of course, is 8 Minutes with God, and it all stemmed from the amazing Bishop Charles Millette back in 2017 when he did the 21-day challenge. I don't know if you remember. Back when
Yes.
he did a live, he did a challenge for us to actually take 8 minutes out of our day to have prayer and meditation with God to kind of set the tone. And at that time, Chiquita, I was not disciplined enough to, you know, to spend 8 minutes with God. I was just like, Jesus, can I really do that? So at the beginning, of course, I would set my, I'm just being honest, I would set my clock just to make sure I had 8 minutes. And then eventually, like over time, my 8 minutes grew and it grew and it grew. And the book is about from my life all the way up until like maybe 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a transparent look at my life, dealing with everyday life, such as like finances, healthy living, relationships, whether it's marriage, singleness, children. I go into emotions. I think that was the most challenging chapter I had to actually write, because I talked about how God delivered me from depression, anxiety, fear, all of those. And I talk about the journey, like learn how to forgive yourself, forgiving one another, letting go of the past. And then the last chapter, I talk about your kingdom assignment, like knowing what your purpose is, praying for your pastors. It's just like so much. And that book really, I really try to touch on everything. So that's basically in a nutshell what 8 minutes with
Lives,
God is. It's a lot.
lives are being changed,
It's a
and
lot.
lives are being changed through that book, Lord. And
Well, we bless God.
yes, yes, won't He do it? But you
Yes,
said
He
something so
will.
powerful about there's a part of your book that talks about your kingdom purpose, and knowing what
Mhm.
it is God has called you to do, and you're living
Mhm.
that out. But I know things haven't always been that way,
No.
where you knew what
No.
God desired for you to be, or that you were the wonderful social butterfly. So take us to a point in your life that was maybe one of those, maybe the darkest, or one of those dark moments, and kind of walk us through that.
Okay. I will try my best to get through that part without crying. The darkest moment, I believe, was September the 12th, 2019, when I
Mm-hmm.
lost my sister, Joy. Uh, she had been battling a sickness that the doctors could not identify. And I'm grateful for the moments that God had me to be there, to be her caregiver, her main caregiver, to walk her through the process. I'm so glad that I was there with her the entire time while she was in the hospital. I was trying to figure out why I wasn't working, but God knew that this assignment was greater on my life versus having a 9 to 5. And I was there with her, and um, I'm sorry. It's some
Don't
days
be
I'm great and
sorry.
some days I am not great. Um, but that was the darkest moment in my life to see my first best friend, my only sister, my only sibling, to walk through a sickness and to transition. That was the darkest moment in my
Yeah,
life, losing her, and just the healing process of that is. I'm still going through the healing process. I tell people it's not day by day; it's moment by moment.
moment.
So
Yeah,
there's some moments when I could like listen, where I could think about something she said or a moment, and I'll just laugh. And then there's some moments in which um, I just cry.
yeah,
I just have moments, and some people think that you are so strong, but you can't. What's the word? Sometimes you have to be vulnerable, but you have to be strategic of who I'm very strategic of whom I'm vulnerable with, because some people
yeah,
can't take my vulnerability. And then sometimes when you go through life, people hurt you, and you're like,
yes,
okay, who can I trust to share this side of me? Because
yeah,
sometimes as an encourager, you always encouraging people, but sometimes as the encourager, you need encouragement and you need someone to actually, um, uphold you and, and help
yeah.
carry you through, those certain moments.
Right.
So that was like the darkest moment of my life,
Mm.
losing
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why I was looking so forward to us having a conversation because, right now during filming, we're in the middle of a pandemic
Yeah.
and there has been thousands and thousands of lives
Yeah.
that have been
Mhm.
lost in the middle of
Mhm.
this and people are really struggling.
Yeah.
And people I've seen some people navigate through what I felt like was devastating on the outside, looked like they
Mhm.
were navigating through it okay. And then
Mhm.
there's been people that I see that are literally struggling to live
Yeah.
today due to people so close to them passing away.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I've seen believers walk through it and I've seen
Mhm.
non-believers walk through it. And what
Yeah.
I admired the most about you was through this journey is not only were you enjoy believers and serving, like
Mhm.
living for God, serving, doing what God
Mhm.
has called you to do, and ultimately God made a decision to take His daughter with Him.
Mhm.
And I remember you taking some time off, and then you came back, and it was like,
Yeah.
man, Libby didn't give up on God. Walk me through why you didn't give up on God. Why didn't you quit?
Um.
Because that would have been the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. If I did not have my relationship with God, I would have, seriously. Because right after not my nephew, right after my sister passed, I went straight into the transition of being like the caregiver of my nephew until he transitioned to move to Florida. So I couldn't just get in a corner and just go into a bout of depression or crying, whatever, because I knew I had to be strong for him. Because, a night where he was 9 at the time, but, a little kid losing like their mother is just tragic, and I knew I had to keep going for him. I knew I had to keep going for, my parents, helping them, we all together trying to walk through this process of losing joy. And I just thought about how, um, despite the fact that she's no longer with us, I looked at how much she went through. And even after she passed, I could just hear her and just say, Libby,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy. I am so happy. And knowing that she is in heaven in her glorified body, knowing that she's made it and that she is resting with God and at the same time looking down on us, that helps me, Chaketa.
Yeah,
Uh, and I'm like, okay, there are moments where I'm like, girl, you're looking down on us, and then there's some days I'm like, God, I miss you so much. But
yeah,
I did not give up on God because I didn't lose it. I could have. Um, I didn't lose my mind. I did not break down. Um, that's why I can't give up, because despite the fact that she's not here, despite the fact that we're going through the pandemic, you know, God is still good. God is still good. He is still good. Like, I have not gone without. My job was affected with this, you know, the pivot, I mean, with the pandemic and everything, but he has not failed me. And I was just like, Jesus, like, there's no way that I could give up on you, because of the fact, despite everything that my eyes see naturally, you have been so good to me spiritually in everything, every aspect of my life. Health, you know, home on my head, roof over my head, food on the table. It's just like, I can't afford to give up on God, because despite what has happened, you are still good. That's why
Yeah.
that's why I can't, you know, I can't give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it's so important that anytime we're walking through dark moments in our lives, that we have a support system. We have someone we
yeah,
can call, someone
yeah.
that we can be vulnerable with, you know, that
Mhm.
we can trust with those tears. In those dark moments, did you have anybody, a
I did.
support team, and how
Yes.
did that help you transition?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, one of the main support, of course, is my church. You know, CPM, Bishop, Pastor Patty, and especially like Pastor Donna. Um, God had her to send scriptures and prayers and worship songs to my sister and myself, like the last month of her life. Like, I just feel like that God had placed her strategically to help bond my sister and I together as one, really as one, spiritually, and help prepare her uh, for her transition. And, you know, still to this day, you know, Pastor Donna still, you know, reaches out to me, Bishop, Pastor Patty, the whole church, and my best friends, like, you know, my two best friends, they have really, when I say stepped up, they have really stepped up
Yeah.
to be my sisters that I need them to be.
Hmm.
Of course, no one can ever take Joy's place, but I am so grateful for the people that he has placed in my life, and even some of the Facebook people. I was just like, what? Like, I feel like I'm getting like more love now. I don't know. It's because people know that, you know, whenever you saw Libby, you saw Joy, or you saw Joy, you saw Libby. So it's just like, I think more people have really kind of gravitated and really supported me, and I appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
nothing but prayers. So
Yeah. What do
yeah.
you think the enemy wanted to do, tried to do?
Um, maybe shake my faith
Yeah.
into maybe doubt God. Yeah, because I was always preaching, trust God, trust the process, trust His plan, and like sometimes the plan in the process is not what you want. You know, it is like, God, I did not sign up for this. Are you serious? But I think that's what the enemy tried to do, was like really try to shake my faith, and relying on God, that I have to trust Him no matter what.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
If someone was watching right now and lost a loved one in the middle of everything that's going on, and you know what those emotions and those moments like, you know how it is at night, over in the morning, during the day.
Yeah.
You know how it is when your support system's calling every minute, and then when your support system's not calling. And that is just something that really only people who've experienced it can bond
Mm-hmm.
and understand those emotions and how to walk through it. But if
Yeah.
someone was watching right now that's in the middle of like the worst place in their life from losing someone, what would you
Mm-hmm.
say to them?
Um, hold fast to God. Like, don't let go, because He is your only strength. Like, family is there, friends are there, but God is there. Like, that's the only thing I can say is hold on to God. Just hold on to God. Whether it's by a string or, just don't let go. Don't let go.
Yeah.
Don't let go.
What were some of the things that you did to hold on to God? And like when you say hold on to God, what did that look like for you?
Oh, meditation, prayer, a lot of prayer, a lot of prayer, a lot of prayer. um, some inspirational books, And just sometimes I really just have a time to myself just to just sit and reflect and just think, and just place myself around positive people. That's the thing that helped me. Because if you was gonna be woe is me and depressed, I couldn't take it because I was trying to come out of my own stuff, and I really try to make sure that I place myself around positive people. That's the thing, And ask
Yeah.
God to guide you. Asking God to guard your spirit
Mm.
and from toxicness, because toxic people, toxic mindsets, just really asking God to remove everything that is not of Him out your life. That was key for
And you
me.
shouldn't, that's crazy because you shouldn't have to deal with toxic people and toxic mindsets while you're walking through
Yeah,
such a dark
yeah,
moment. But,
yeah,
the enemy tries to take advantage of every opportunity that he can to try to kill,
yeah,
steal, and destroy.
yeah, yeah. Because
So
like I guess because you're such in a low place, and it's just like your spirit is so vulnerable, and you don't want to receive everything or everybody, because I did not share my most intimate uh I guess thoughts or what I was walking through with everybody. It was only like a select few that I felt that could handle. And thank you, Jesus. Even if I did not tell someone, I know that people were praying for me. So, and I know people are still praying for us. So it's just, you just have to be careful, of who you let into not your circle, but you have to be careful to what you
yeah,
deposit into you, because, girl, get around the wrong people, and then next thing you know, you acting foolish, or you try to figure out why this spirit is on you. It's because you let someone that's not right in your life, and that spirit has like transferred to you. So it's
yeah.
just,
And that makes it easy in such a vulnerable moment to get
yeah,
connected to things that are counterproductive to the will of God for your life.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that's
yeah,
really good advice to meditate. Make sure you spend time, with yourself, be around positive people, be sensitive to your spirit at that time and who's trying to
yeah,
enter, making sure you stay away from people who are trying to get you to do things that can put you in a worse place. Because it may,
yeah,
here's the thing about sin or whatever is nobody would really sin if it didn't feel good, at least for a short period of time, right?
yeah,
Like if it was just
yeah,
if it felt bad, all bad the whole time, nobody would even look that way.
right.
But because it comes in a decorated box that looks like everything you could ever want, need or imagine in
Mm-hmm,
that moment, it's
mm-hmm,
tempting.
mm-hmm.
It's tempting even in the dark moments to open that box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now that you're on the other, I was about to say now that you're on the other side of it, but I want to say that this is a continuing journey for you.
Mm-hmm,
Um, but you are. It's like even the whole time, Libby, it's like God had just put this bubble of sunshine around you, and I'm like, she's just so special, even in the dark moments. It's just so special. But how are you a different or better person after coming out of the worst place in your life?
um, I truly, truly value family more so now than ever. Um, it seems like here lately, Chiquita, I have been really like not preaching, but like when it comes to people that have siblings and they're not really getting along, I'm like, look, I need for y'all to get together. Like, I don't care how old you are, I don't care who said what, get it right, because I'm like, I don't have a sibling. Like, dude, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Sorry. I get passionate about that sometimes because I look and I listen to people that are, I understand, brothers and sisters, you're gonna have fights. I mean, you're gonna have arguments. That's just natural. But if it's something that has lingered and lingered and you're like old with it, like, y'all need to grow up. Like, that's how I feel. And it's just like, I just like, look, I don't have a sibling to argue with. I wish that I could sit here and fuss with my sister. And my sister and I, we had the typical disagreements that siblings would have. But at the end of the day, we had each other's back. We stayed with each other to the end. It's just like, when I look at how some people just allow small stuff to destroy relationships, I'm just like, are you supposed to be saved too? That right there, just,
Libby, as
I,
you as you were sharing that, and I'll try not to cry because I always get emotional when I share this, but like my dad's parents, my mom was going to kill me when I say this, but I always say this. They practically raised me till I was 6 years old because I was always with my dad's parents.
mm-hmm.
And then as I got in like middle school, we had family challenges like most families have,
Yeah.
but we had the relationships for whatever, and I can't even tell you, Libby, what it was, but it just became in a situation where it was just so toxic, right?
Yeah.
And I was young and I was in middle school, but I made a decision like I was an adult, but I made a decision. I was like, I just don't have time for this. And I'm just going to hang out with my Millette side of the family and I'm just not going to talk to them. And I might call them twice a year and I might go see them during the holidays. And that was just my attitude. I was just angry with how things are going in relationship with my dad and blah, blah, blah. And that carried on, Libby, for like probably all the way up until the last few years of my life.
Wow.
And I got a call from my dad, and he was telling me that my grandmother has dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And he was all, and then I had got a call not so long after that my papa was having some health challenges. And it was at that moment when I was like, wow, like I wasted so many years not being intentional about my relationship with them for what? And now I can never get those years back. Right? I can never get those years back. And it was on Mother's Day, and I was thinking, what am I going to get my grandma for Mother's Day? And so I went to the store and I got a card, and I just wrote this heartfelt message to her. And it's when I go see her now, it's like there are some moments when she's kind of present and in the moment, and then there's some moments when she's like, she's not. And recently during this time, every time I went to see her, she was kind of like way back, like before I was born, that she would talk about things, years and years ago. So I wrote this long message in the card, and basically what I said in the card was, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I hadn't been the best granddaughter that I should have been. Like, I'm sorry I spent so many years away because I can't get those days back. And on my way there, I prayed.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, please let my grandma be in the moment, like present in the moment when I get there, so I can read this card to her, because I want her to remember.
Yeah.
Like, I want her to know that I love her and I'm sorry, right? And God answered that prayer. And so I got there and we were there, and I said, well, Grandma, can I read the card to you? And she said, yeah. So I opened the card and I read it to her, and I was just a hot mess, Libby, like I am right now.
I had to grab my tissue.
Just crying, saying I'm sorry to her and my grandpa. Like, I wish, wish I could have just go back 10 or 15 years and done better and been here for y'all, blah, blah, blah. And she stopped me. And she told me to stop crying. She's like, I know you love me. You've always loved me. And I've never felt this way. I've never felt that way. And I don't want you to ever say that again, and blah, 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 blah. And I just want you to know that I'm sorry and I love you. And it was like every since I got those calls, I have been super intentional about visiting them and being there, because the reality is I don't know how long I'll have, with my grandparents. And they're such special people in my life. And I'm so thankful, Libby. Like, if there's one thing God knows I'm so thankful for, I'm so thankful that He's given me the opportunity to be intentional and have a relationship with them before He transitions them. Because I truly believe that He knows that if He would have taken my grandparents before I could make it right, I don't know if I would have been able to carry that burden for the rest of my. And I just wish that I wouldn't have carried family drama. And to this moment, I can't even tell you what all the drama was over the years and why I decided to stay. But I wish that I never would have done that. But I'm so thankful that God has loved me enough to give me the opportunity to at least be a part of their life and be intentional about relationship now going forward. So when you say that, God has used you to like be intentional about helping people with their siblings and their relationship, I think that's
Yeah.
so important because if like people need to know it's not worth it. Like
Yeah.
I don't care what it is y'all
Yeah.
disagreeing about,
Yeah.
it is not
Yeah.
worth it. Because when
Yeah.
they're not here, they're not coming back.
They're not. No. No. No.
And we'll have a chance to spend time with them. We're both in heaven, but we're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to experience them here, on earth. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
so thankful that God has called you and then many others like you who are like, y'all better be intentional relationship with your parents or your grandparents or
Yeah.
your siblings,
Yeah.
because you're gonna think about those moments. You're gonna miss them. You're gonna wish that
Yeah.
those little petty arguments or whatever you think is so big while you're not there, it's so not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Sorry,
right.
I'm up here.
No,
We're
you
talking
okay?
about.
I've been like, I've been just like dabbing because you said, yeah, yeah.
But Libby, thank you. And I was going to ask you any last words you'd like to share, or even a scripture that is close to your heart, that you would like others to know before we end our conversation.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for this platform. Because this is actually the first time that I've like sat here and talked about my journey of losing joy. So uh, it's been therapeutic for me today. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I think the scripture that really gets me through is Jeremiah 29:11. I mean, I know a lot of people say that, but like his plans for me are full of hope and
Yeah,
prosperity. It is not to hurt me or bring harm to me. So
yeah.
that's my scripture, Jeremiah 29:11.
Thank you.
And
And
just
you're
to hold
right.
on, people, hold on
Yeah.
and don't give up. Seriously, don't give up. I know there are dark days, but don't give up. Don't give
Don't
up.
give up.
Yeah,
Don't give up, because God has not given up on you.
he's able.
And
Yeah,
he is able. He sees us through every moment. And
yeah,
I would say, even be intentional about relationship with your family members. I think this shift, this pandemic, I think it's exposed areas of our lives that we haven't managed well. And
yes,
I think if people
yes,
haven't missed, I think this is a time where people like miss family and want to be with them or want to
yeah,
be a part of their life or see them more. And I hope that people feel encouraged to be intentional about the relationships with their loved ones. So,
yeah.
I love you, Libby.
I love you
Thank you for
too.
being the butterfly that you are, and your sweet spirit and your smile, and continuing to serve. Like
Thank
to
you.
serve and give back to the community, even in a place where you're hurting or still on your journey. You're still giving. You're still serving.
Yeah,
And I want to encourage anyone who's watching to please connect with Libby, to purchase her book. And I hope that our encouragement talk has been a blessing to anyone that God has allowed this video to fall in their lap. So I love you, Libby, and thank you
love you
again.
too. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.